ladies and gentlemen, to Summer in the Asylum here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm checking out something that, at least to me, is a little bit special. See, because I am a wrestling fan. A lot of people know this. I also have admitted that I'm a fan of the Insane Clown Posse. Well, tonight's film stars not only the Insane Clown Posse, but also professional wrestler Raven. I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Tonight's film is called Death Racers. For those of you who don't entirely know, Death Racers is this studio's attempt at knocking off Death Race, which was, I guess, according to what I've heard, I honestly haven't seen Death Race, so I'm just going to play along with this. It was kind of like a pseudo retelling, reboot, remake of one of my favorite Roger Corman films, Death Race 2000. However, when I saw the trailers, it looked less like Death Race 2000 and looked more like Twisted Metal with the serial number filed off. So I don't know if Death Race was any good. I don't know if Death Racers is going to be any good. However, I have seen a film that was done by the Insane Clown Posse before they did this. For those of you who've never heard of the film is called Big Money Hustlers, and it's a really corny, really stupid parody of blaxploitation films. But yes, folks, there are a pair of white rapping clowns doing a parody of blaxploitation films, and they're in the two starring roles. The film is actually funny in a really cheesy and bad sort of way. You might actually enjoy it if you guys ever get a chance to see it. But I'm not talking about that film tonight. Tonight I'm talking about Death Racers, which came out in 2008. So, I really have no idea, guys, if this thing is going to be any good or not. Let me see, what is the runtime on this thing? It's 92 minutes long, so let's just hope and pray that this film is at least halfway decent. There's no way in hell it can be nearly as bad as Paranormal Entity. But then again, just by saying that, I'm probably tempting fate, and this thing's going to be a big, colossal turd. However, I'm still going into this thing optimistically, so it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Death Racers. Okay, this film has just started. I can already tell you this thing has some really awful effects, but it's actually almost charming how bad these fucking effects are, guys. Okay, folks, I'm going to say this. The dialogue, at least in this scene, really sucks. These are people who apparently have never sworn in their entire lives, and they're just dropping them in like randomly. It sounds really awkward. So wait a minute. So we have the fucking ICP driving around in a pimped out ice cream truck. Okay, that actually is a few different shades of awesome. Okay, so this whole thing, like the actual basic premise, because they just finished walking us through everything, is kind of a cross between Death Race 2000 and Escape from New York. I love both of those movies, so I think this might actually be a promising film. You know, folks, I actually was just thinking about something, and this is a huge gaping plot hole that was never properly explained. This film is set in the year 2030 something. I think it's like 2033. And yet the Insane Clown Posse are the same age in 2033 than they are now. It just seems a little odd. I mean, you know, the film is still decent, but that is just a little, you know, that there's sort of like a little bit of logic you have to sort of jump over in order to get to enjoy the film. Just sort of thought I'd toss it out there. I swear, folks, the actors who play the governor and his cabinet, let's call them, are probably the worst actors in this movie. I seriously dread every scene which features them. Okay, I just kind of want to say this. I find it really funny that every single person in this film who happens to have a spear has the exact same looking spear. It just seems a little weird. I mean, because spears are something you could just make out of nothing, but everyone's got the exact same, like, fake ass looking, like, store bought spear. It's kind of funny. Oh boy. Well, that actually is another movie I can say that has piss. That actually has like piss drinking. Haha, see that? A lot of you guys actually thought I was going to say a dick getting cut off. No, it was just piss drinking this time. Thankfully, it was just piss drinking. That just sounds awful. Thankfully. You know, guys, I just want to say that this film... Wait, was that just a fucking robot masturbating? My god, I think this film has a masturbating robot. I was actually going to say something else, but fuck it. I just saw a goddamn robot, beating off. That... Damn. Okay. That one was definitely new. This time, folks, it was a robot penis that got, chopped off. And, somehow it's not nearly as nasty as in every other instance, but still. God damn. Wait a minute. A pair of trained soldiers who are trying to find a body. Do not look behind a large piece of wood leaning up against a wall. Oh, Jesus. God, that's fucking stupid. Well, folks, there we go. That is the end of Death Racers. Let me shut that off. Just, wow. God damn. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where the hell to even start. Well, okay, I think that the best way to start off is by saying that Death Racers was leaps and bounds better than Paranormal Entity, but that's not saying much. In fact, that basically is almost like saying that a 5-pound bag of shit's not nearly as bad as a 10-pound bag because there's less shit in it. But still, this film, I stated earlier that it's essentially a cross between Escape from New York and Death Race 2000, which are two of my favorite movies. I really hoped that this thing would be good. The big issue has to be, well, two things: the writing and the editing. Just let me run you through. Because first of all, guys, the acting is really, really poor, but I kind of figured that going in. And so that honestly is kind of sort of a non. So that's kind of like a non-issue. Special effects were not really great. Again, I was kind of sort of expecting that, so that's kind of a non-issue. The writing. They had something here that would probably have been a fantastic movie, and they just run out of gas with about a half an hour to fucking go. The characters all of a sudden become irritating instead of kind of charming, and the story just seems to come to a dead stop. Oh, Jesus. And the dialogue. The dialogue from every character is almost complete and total shit, with the lone exception being Raven's dialogue, which is probably why he comes off as the best actor in the entire film, is because he's the only one who's given dialogue that seems to at least have been competently written in some small way, shape, or form. Now, as for the editing. I don't know who in the hell edited this fucking movie, but they should never be allowed to touch a film again. Almost every shot has this really, really disgusting filter over it. Almost everything is either piss yellow or toilet bowl blue. It's like those were the only two filters which this camera had, and it just makes the entire film look awful. And the action sequences are just full of horrible things that should only be in music videos. I'm talking, it has things like stutter cuts and mirroring. It actually has two different types of mirroring. One of them is just where you have the whole shot and you just like mirror it, and the other one is where you take like one half of your shot and you mirror it onto the other half. That one is used like twice, and they use like regular mirroring and stutter cuts and fisheye fucking lenses and all this other goofy shit. They use it way too much. Costumes were really corny, but again, that I kind of figured. The soundtrack, the soundtrack is something else that is just a giant shot in the fucking foot. Because, okay, the entire soundtrack is made up of Insane Clown Posse songs, which normally I would have no problem with. The big issues with this are they only used about 6 or 7 songs, and out of those 6 or 7, there's only one of them that I actually think is in any way halfway decent. So they basically took some of the worst songs which the fucking clowns have done, and they use that for the soundtrack. This movie runs 90 minutes, and you will hear the same songs playing in the background again and again and again, and this shouldn't be when you consider the fact that the ICP have well over 100 songs. I mean, they could have had a soundtrack where you never hear the same goddamn song twice, but you don't. Or you might hear like the same song, except there'd be except to be used in some sort of like it'd be used in some sort of like a motif, where if you see this character, you'll hear this song similar to Peter and the Wolf. But no, you don't. These frickin' songs are just, like randomly put in, and it gets sort of irritating. Now, even though I have all of these issues, I still almost want to recommend it. I guess, let me just put it to you this way. If anybody has Netflix and you happen to see it on there, go ahead, watch it. It's only fucking 90 minutes, and you might actually get a couple of fucking laughs out of it just simply because of how corny it is. Or you can BitTorrent it, or if you happen to find a copy of it on fucking DVD and it's for like $2, go ahead, pick it up, because really, it's $2. It honestly is not going to kill you. However, under any other circumstance, if you happen to find a copy of it on DVD and it's like $7, fuck that. It's not worth $7. I mean, it is good in a really cheesy and bad way. However, that kind of sort of wears really, really thin, and you wind up with nothing. You wind up with this irritating, dull mess that you just fucking want to shut off. And you have to work past those scenes in order to run into another scene or two that's actually decent. So, like I said, this one is really hard to recommend. However, if somebody were to look at me and go, should I watch Death Racers or should I watch Paranormal Entity? I'm going to tell you flat out, you're going to want to watch Death Racers. That one, at least, is a little bit likable. It's, kind of funny. It's a little bit cheesy. However, once again, I do have to mention Escape from fucking New York and Death Race 2000. Both of those films have far better writing than fucking Death Racers does. So your best bet is, if you happen to find copies of Death Race 2000 and fucking Escape from New York, go for those in friggin' stead. I mean, those I honestly could recommend without question. It's just, I would almost feel, guilty if somebody were to go out and actually pay money to watch this, because it's not worth it. So, I guess I ought to just stop now because I'm just fucking rambling and I'm just fucking repeating myself. It's getting kind of bad. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that. Next time it's gonna be another film from this studio. No, I'm not going to tell you which film. However, it is one of the ones that a lot of you have actually been requesting. So that is going to be something to look. That's something to look forward to. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.